It's time to be about that life, the startup life. Here's your host, Dominic Lawson.
All right, Startup Nation. So I hope you're ready to receive some value today. My name is Dominic Lawson, and this is the Startup Life, the show for entrepreneurs and career-minded professionals. You know, Startup Nation, we just came out of 2020, and a lot of people are kind of looking for growth opportunities as they pursue their fields of endeavor, their businesses, and the like. And we have a fantastic guest for you today, Startup Nation, to kind of help us out with that and more. She is the global customer growth and innovation evangelist at Salesforce, and she's also the author of Growth IQ: Get Smarter About the Choices We Will Make or Break Your Business. She is Tiffani Bova. Tiffani Bova. TB, how are you, ma'am?
I am awesome. Thank you for having me, Dominic.
No worries. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're so glad to have you. Tiffani, if you would, I just want to ask you, like I said, we just got out of 2020. What are some lessons that you took away from a year that was definitely one for the record books?
I would just say that, dealing with uncertainty and, a high level of anxiety and sort of not knowing how to navigate. I mean, I don't think any of us had a playbook,
right,
either from a business or personal standpoint. But, I'm glad it's behind us, but it's not behind us, right? But 2020 was kind of the year where we had to kind of stabilize and respond to the shock of everything that was going on. And now it's about resiliency and really coming back better and stronger in 2021, but really 2022 and 2023. We've got to continue to hold on as we work our way through, but it's been great to see so much inspiration on a global basis of people coming together to solve some of these really big problems.
Absolutely. And, and speaking of, problems and stuff like that, we're now here in 2021 and people are looking for those opportunities to kind of scale and grow their businesses. I guess I'm curious, because you always speak about the growth mindset and stuff like that. What are some of those opportunities that you're kind of seeing out there for small business owners, whether they're already in the industry or maybe they're just looking to start a business in a particular industry?
Well, here's sort of how I look at it.
Sure.
Is I think that people need to take this opportunity, regardless of what you've been doing in your career up until this point, to have a beginner's mind, right? Really being open to maybe making a career change or investing in new skills personally. We have to invest in ourselves. If we don't invest in ourselves, who else will?
Right.
And so I think that if you can give yourself permission on a daily basis to take 15 minutes or a half an hour, like listening to this podcast, to find maybe some inspiration to try some new things. But I'd say ultimately you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable because, doing new things and change is scary. We're at the beginning of the year and already I forgot what my New Year's resolutions were. We all know how that is. Change is hard, personally. But I'd say we have to disrupt ourselves if we plan on doing something disruptive in our business or in the marketplace or with our customers. And especially if it's in the startup life, right? Where you're always looking for what's the next big idea.
Right.
And it may not be successful, but, you have to view it like you win or you learn. You just, it's never a loss. It's what did I learn from it?
For sure. Thank you for sharing that. And once again, Startup Nation, we're talking to Tiffani Bova, the author of Growth IQ: Get Smarter About the Choices That Will Make or Break Your Business. If you would just kind of talk about the book and some of the insight that readers will get from reading your book.
Well, Growth IQ was a culmination of a lot of things. One, I was a practicing, I was a sales rep, quota-bearing sales rep for a really long time. I worked for startups, mid-sized business, enterprise, and then Fortune 500 companies. And then along the way, I picked up taking care of marketing as well, and then customer service. So I had this really unique perspective on looking at customer facing from kind of three of the pillars of kind of growth within businesses, that sales, service, and marketing. But then I was able to spend a decade at a company called Gartner, and it's the largest advisory firm, analyst and advisory firm for technology companies in the world. So I had the opportunity to then take that practicing expertise and apply it from an advisory standpoint with some of the largest technology companies in the world, but also many, many, many startups. And, the question was always, what's the one thing I can do, right, to grow my business or to get that customer? And really, it was the one thing about growth is it's never one thing. And so that really sparked the writing of the book was, how can I sort of share these lessons learned from 15 years of being a practitioner, 10 years of being an advisor and a consultant. So 25 years, into a book that would be engaging and sort of tell the stories that I had learned along the way. And, being a non-academic, if you will, I let the stories of other companies sort of tell the story I was trying to tell. And so it's been really well received because it's short bursts, right? Short stories. We don't have time to necessarily sit and read a 250-page book, but I could read a story a day. And then, over the course of a couple of weeks, I can read the book and I have some framework by which I can apply as I look for ways to either accelerate growth in the business, start to learn, figure out, especially in the startup's life, like how to get our first set of customers. Right. It might even be how to scale or move into new markets or new verticals. And those questions, regardless of where you are in your company's journey, hopefully gets answered in the book. Right. And,
you kind of talked about this earlier. I would love for you to kind of dive into it more. You talked about having that multi-path approach, because you always talk about having not a single ticket to growth, but a multi-path growth. And it seems like a lot of times we're always looking for that silver bullet to solve all of our problems, and not just from growth, but just other aspects of our company. Kind of talk about that multi-path approach. What does that look like more in detail, if you don't mind me asking, Tiffani?
Well, I think that that was going back to what I was saying, right? That one thing about growth is it's never one thing. Right. And customers would always ask me, and clients continue to ask me, like, what's the one thing that I can do? As I said a few minutes ago. Right. And I used to answer, and then I realized that I was doing a complete disservice. Gotcha. That there's no way you can have an amazing product, best in class, if you can't sell it. And then there's no way you can have the best in class product and you're able to sell it, but you can't support it and you don't maintain it. You don't continue to invest in it. It also doesn't work. You can't have a great product, be able to sell it, be able to support it, but your customers don't like engaging with your company. You kind of have to have all those things, right? Right. What's the product? Who's the customer? How do they want to buy? How are you going to service them? And at the end of the day, do they feel that you're adding value either in their personal or professional life with whatever product or service you are selling? Right there, what I said, there was not one thing, right? You have to have strong product development. You have to have strong selling capabilities. You have to have strong service capabilities. Now, it doesn't mean you need tens of thousands of people. If you only have 5 customers or 10 customers, do you have someone who's responsible for each of those functions? Are they coordinated? Are they collaborating? Do your customers feel like